Hey everybody, it's Judy and welcome to day one of our 5-day challenge called From Stressed Out to Fired Up. And our topic today is to discover your stress risk and what to do about it. So my intention today is, firstly, I want to actually talk about some of the first steps that we can take together and that you can take that'll take you from stressed out to fired up. This program is designed to do that. It's 5 days, it's step by step, it's incremental. So you're not going to get it all in one bite, but you'll get it in all the little 5 bites that we have along the way. So the other thing I want you to know is my other intention is to really provide you with practical tools. These are tools that I have used with my clients for the past 15 years. They're also included in the More Than Enough program, and they're tried and true. These are things that work, and they can help, again, incrementally. They're designed to decrease your stress and increase your productivity so that you can have more white space, so that you can have more time with the people that you care about the most. And my third intention is also to give you a really fun but practical challenge to help you remember some of the things that we're talking about today, but also it's something that, especially today's challenge, is actually super fun, and it actually is something that I use on a regular basis to remind me, to anchor me into that state of being fired up, or at least calm and centered, right? So let's dig right in. So first off, I also want you to take notes. So if you haven't gotten a pad of paper and a pen, grab that because you'll want that. And the other thing you will notice in the box over there, you're going to notice that there is a handout link. And that handout link is basically a worksheet that's going to go along with today's content. So all you have to do is put your name and your email, and it'll be sent right into your inbox. And you'll be put on my email list. Now, if you're already on my email list, don't worry about it. You're already there, so it's no big. And if you're not on my email list, then you'll be on it, and then you'll be able to get all the other additional content information that my email tribe gets to receive. And they usually receive things first, and sometimes they even get some special content that no one else sees. So that's what's going on with the link. So you may want to download that. So as we dig in to today's topic about discovering your stress risk, you'll notice in today's handout, this is what it looks like, right? The signs and symptoms of overstress. So in my research, I have looked at, and this is something that I've known about for years, that there's the Holmes and Rahe stress scale. This stress scale actually helps you do a self-inventory, okay? It's an inventory about how your stress level has been impacted in the past 12 months. Now, here's the thing. Most of the time, we don't actually take a moment to take an inventory about what are all the things that are coming down on us. What are the things that are impacting our lives? We just take it for granted. We just say, oh, well, that's my next responsibility. We just throw it on our backs and keep moving forward. Well, here's the thing. This scale, this stress scale, actually helps you take an inventory of the key incidences that are going on in your life. So, for example, each one of the events, the life events in this particular handout, will give you a certain number or a certain score. So for instance, if you have the death of a spouse, that's 100 life change units. So that means that event is worth 100 points on the stress scale. So when you look to the bottom of the stress scale, and you look at, is your score 300 or more, you're at a risk for illness. If it's somewhere 150 to 299, there's a risk of illness. It's moderate. And if it's 150 or below, you only have a slight risk for illness. So this stress scale is to help you understand what is your baseline, where are we starting from? So when I was designing this 5-day challenge, I just wanted to jump right into a whole bunch of content, but I realized, you know what? Unless you understand where you are now, where you're starting from, you can't figure out where you're going to go, right? You have to understand first and gain awareness of where you are right now. And as you read this list of events, you may be quite surprised because some of these things, could potentially be, getting a mortgage. Getting a mortgage is worth 32 points. That's pretty stressful, right? Or a trouble with a boss is 23 points. Now, I would argue that trouble with a boss could probably be more than that if it's compounded daily. But this stress scale is to give you a baseline, because a lot of times we don't pay attention to what our stress level is. So I love the story of the boiled frog. So I don't know if any of you have ever heard that story of the boiled frog, but basically the concept is that if you put a frog in a pot of water and then you slowly, and it has water in it, right? The pot has water and it's on a stove. You turn on the stove and you slowly turn up the heat. The concept is that the frog will not jump out. And the reason why the frog won't jump out is because it doesn't have a sense of how the temperature is rising. And that's the same thing with us. When we have stress and we don't notice it because it comes up incrementally, right? The heat gets higher and higher and higher. We don't even notice it. We just acclimate to the more stress that we have. And if we're not good at letting go, it just becomes something that weighs us down. We get used to that weight, and then we get used to more weight, and then we get used to more weight, and then we just put up with it. We don't even have a sense as to what it was like when we didn't have all that stress, or that when we were able to let it go. So that's one concept that I want you to think about. I don't want you to be a boiled frog. All right. I don't want that heat to be turned up and for you not to even realize where you're at. So that's why this handout, the 5-day challenge, the signs and symptoms of overstress, you're going to be able to take this yourself. This is your homework. This is not part of the challenge, but it is a tool that I want you to have because I think it's really super valuable. And if you haven't done it in a while or you've never heard of it, it's awesome. It's really, really awesome to do. Now, the other thing is I want you to realize the fact that we're so busy being busy. And a lot of us use that word, I'm busy, as a way to shield ourselves. Some of us use it to shield away intimacy. We don't have to get close to people if we're too busy. Or we also use it to back off more stress, right? Sometimes it's the best way to say, I'm too busy, I can't, as opposed to just saying no. So at this point, think about how being so busy can actually hinder us and hinder our awareness of where we are in our stress risk. So this is going to help you understand what your risk is. And chances are, if you're telling yourself that I'm so busy story, it may actually be clouding you from that self-awareness. This may be a huge wake-up call for some of you, for you to be able to see exactly how much stress you have, how much responsibility you have. So that's number one. And it's interesting, too, that we have a choice when it comes to how busy we are. And we forget that, too. And the reason why we forget it is because of the stress. We just feel as though at some point we just have to resign and deal with it. And we just have these beliefs that are programmed into us. Maybe we receive them from our families, that maybe that life is so hard, or, I have to take this responsibility. Some of those beliefs, if they go unchecked and unexamined, they can actually drive you into a pattern of overstress. You accept responsibility without even questioning it, without even realizing that you have a choice to make. Now, I get it. Some of you are going to say, Judy, I don't have a choice. I have to do this. I hear you. And there are some parts of your life that you do have a choice, and you are choosing to take responsibility for other able-bodied adults that may not be stepping up. So, am I saying that sometimes you have to let things bleed and sometimes things have to fall through the cracks? Yeah. Is that uncomfortable? Yeah. And is that going to be a challenge for some? Absolutely. But the thing is that remember that you do have choice. There's a lot of choices that we have. So with that said, let me tell you a little quick story. I was talking, and this illustrates my point about the choice. I was talking to a client the other day. We're going to call her Betty. I was talking to Betty, and the first thing that she wanted to talk about in the coaching call was this really difficult person that is on her team. One of her teammates, no, I'm sorry, it's not her team, it's a subordinate, someone that works for her on her team. And this girl, when she performs, she's a total rock star. But when she's, kind of off and flaking, she'll be picking her nails in a meeting, or she'll be rolling her eyes whenever she's given an assignment. And, all of this information that my client was telling me. And I just sat there and I looked at her and I said, Betty, what choices do you have? And what was interesting is what came back to me is Betty started repeating the story about the employee who's when she's on. And then she also repeated to me how stressed out she was. Then, how there's so much work to do, and that this person doesn't, the girl who works for her, she doesn't play full out. So notice, I asked the question, what choices do you have? And instead of her realizing that she had a choice or that she would engage in a conversation with me about choice, she went into blame and she went into complaining. And to me, that is, number one, she's not really listening and she's not being present. But the other thing is like, how often do we do that? How often do we kind of negate the fact that we have choices, that we have opportunities and different ways of being, and we just focus on the problem? So tool number one is called third optioning. So what I did to Betty, I corralled her back into the question again, and I said, Betty, wait a minute. We've got to talk here. We've got to focus on what your choices are. So we came up with 3 choices, and I'll tell you why. If you only have one choice, you're stuck. You feel like you're backed into a corner, and you feel like a hostage. If you have 2 choices, then you're in a dilemma. You feel like it's either this or that. So I'm either happy or I'm not. So you want to get to 3 or more choices whenever you're facing a big challenge. And here's why. 2 reasons. Number one, it makes your brain expand and think broader. And it also doesn't keep you in those 2 lower states of thinking, which is I'm stuck, or I either have to do this or that. And both choices I don't like. So once you get into 3 or more choices, you are being resourceful, you are expanding your brain, and you're allowing yourself to use both sides, right? You're using your logical side of your brain as well as your creative side of your brain. And it really does open up the possibilities. So that's tool number 1. Tool number 2 is all about you as a leader. You're a leader of your life. So when we talk about choice, you're a leader of your life in terms of how you live it and also how you have your business, your career. And there's 3 key things, 3 key choices that you need to make and you need to be aware of in an ongoing fashion. One is you need to be able to decide and get clear and have choices about what your direction is. Where are you going? What is the outcome? What does success look like? Number 2 is alignment. Are you in alignment with your purpose? Do you have a purpose that you're aligned with? Not only is it the what, the direction in terms of where you want to go to, but the purpose of what's driving you. And then lastly is the last one is just commitment. Are you committed to do whatever it takes? Are you going to make that choice to step into you living your purpose, your values, and committing to do what it is that you're going to do and keep a clear agreement with yourself? Here's the thing. My number one pet peeve with myself and with other people, I'm not just saying it's is when I don't keep a clear agreement. When I make an agreement to do something for myself and I don't do it, or when I'm working with others and it's like, okay, we've made a clear agreement and we need to keep it. So I give that to you as a piece of the inner leadership. It's inner leadership and outer leadership, because when we get clear on the inside, it shows up great on the outside. So those are two really practical tools that I hope you wrote down. And think in terms too of the third tool, which you can go to my website, judygloba.com, and you can take the anatomy of burnout. Here's another way that you can get a handle, you can get awareness about how you're showing up in stress and burnout. It's 7 easy questions, and you can get a sense as to how do you handle stress? What is your state of mind when it comes to burnout and some of the other elements that are involved in that? That way you can find out what your strengths are, what your blind spots are, and what to do about it. Because you'll get a personalized report there, and I'll be able to help you kickstart that program of being able to go from stressed out to fired up. So those are my 3 tools. I'm giving you a lot of tools for your toolkit today. And the last thing I want to do is I'm engaging you and I'm challenging you. Your challenge today, and this is going to help you anchor in and remind you that you have a choice, right? The bottom line is, yes, we can have stress. Yes, we can understand what our stress level is. And we can also make choices. We can start to make better choices. And think about your challenge today is to post below this right in the feed. I'm going to post mine. All you have to do, takes less than 5 minutes. All you have to do is think of what is your power song. What is that song that when you hear it, it reminds you that either you can let go and you don't have to feel the stress, or that you have choice and that you're powerful and that you can do whatever it is, right? Think of it as your theme song, your power song, your power girl song, your superwoman song, whatever that is for you. Mine is definitely the one by Pink, that you are perfect to me. I love that song. I just get fired up whenever I hear her. I love her voice. I love her energy. And it lights me up whenever I can have that reminder that, I'm already perfect. I don't need to pretend. I don't need to push. I don't need to be more than who I am. I'm more than enough just as I am. So that's your challenge for today. All you have to do, if you choose, you can download this awesome tool, and you can just go to the box over here. You can go to the box and click the link and get your handout, get your tool. You have those other 3 tools that I gave you today, and participate in our challenge. When you participate in the challenge, you will get a point, right? At the end of the week, I'm going to see how many of you have done the 5-day challenge and how many points you get. So hopefully we're going to have a lot of participation so that I can count all those names up at the end of the week and see who has done the most. And then if there's a tie or there's a bunch of people that I can choose from, I'll just choose one name out of the batch. So I'm so excited to have you here today. And again, thank you so much for all the participation last week in the Tribe Builder Extravaganza. It's still not too late to invite any of your friends that want to be a part of this challenge, because the grand prize, oh my gosh, I forgot to tell you the grand prize. The grand prize this week, the one lucky winner is going to get a VIP, half-day VIP session with me on Zoom. which means you're going to get 2 assessments, and we're going to have a conversation to help you get really clear about where you are, whatever it has to do with your life, with your business, with your stress level, right? But we're going to focus on whatever is most important to you, and we're going to be able to create a game plan for you within those 2.5 hours. So I look forward to hearing from you. Have an amazing day. Don't forget to post your song or your book or your movie, right? Post a GIF, post a link to YouTube with your song, right? Whatever it is that inspires you, that always gets you into that mindset of knowing that you have a choice, that you are doing the best you can, that you can get fired up. What's that song that gets you fired up? You get to post it down below, and then we all get to enjoy it, because I love to see everybody's fire up song. All right, have an amazing day. I look forward to seeing you, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.